Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for choosing Graps TV and the Sicko Show. This is your host, the Matty Man, and we're coming to you live after the hurricane. Holy shit, what a day. Holy shit. As far as the news goes, there's not a whole lot to talk about on that right now. As far as we know, Jacob Fatu is legit injured. He is not taking time off. He's legit injured. And the hits just keep on coming. I am your host, the Matty Man. This is the Sicko Show. We are live and in living color. Oh my goodness, I hope everybody's had a great day. I know I've had one. I've had a pretty decent day. I can't complain. Even if I did complain, you know what? Fuck it. Nobody's going to listen anyway, so it's all good here tonight. It is getting late, and I'm going to jump right into it here in just a couple of minutes. I'm giving a few more minutes for everybody to show up. Hey, we do have a viewer. That's awesome. So I'm hoping everybody stays on well, and I'm going to be covering tonight. I'm going to be covering Smackdown, Rampage, and Collision all in the same show. So we're going to be here for a few minutes. I just figured I'd drop that one off to you. It has been a nasty, nasty weather event all up and down the East Coast and other parts in between. I think the mountains are even getting hit with some storms and so on and so forth. So I personally would like to send out my prayers and thoughtful wishes for everybody who's been in the wake of this storm. I do have a video where I was driving behind a truck today, but I do believe I started cussing, as I would when somebody stops right in the middle of a flood, and that's neither here nor there. But the sun is out for at least 7 more days, so I know I got plenty of time to do plenty of other things, and you know what? I'm going to make the most of it, what I got. We're going to be talking to Triller TV and IWTV coming in the coming week. I may very well have an announcement to make. And if I do have an announcement to make, I'm going to bring all y'all with me on this right here because it's going to be a big deal. We may very well be going live on Triller and IWTV within the next month or so. That's just something to think about. In addition, and this has been in the planning and we're here now, WrestleCade at the end of November starts on Black Friday, the 29th, and goes all the way through December 1st. Myself and the Covalent TV are going to have booths there live. We will announce talent that's going to be at the booth. Mr. Starks is going to announce some, and then when he announces it, I will come behind him on my next stream and I will announce it to you. Suffice it to say, we are having a great time. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's just a great time for wrestling in general, but you know what? Here we are. Let's go ahead and get straight into it here. Friday Night Smackdown last night came from Tulsa, Oklahoma with Corey Graves and Wade Barrett behind the mic. And as we open up the show, Cody Rhodes' music hits and he comes out to the ring. Cody asks the fans, obviously, it's like, well, what do you want to talk about? He says all eyes are on what happens next, and he has been thinking about who he wants to defend his undisputed title against at the Bash in Berlin. As he's talking, Solo Sikoslaw's music hits, and here he steps out in there, straight out of the dark, so and so. Solo tells him he doesn't care what he wants to talk about. Or what the fans want to hear. Yeah, because the coleslaw works like that. Yeah. He wants to talk about SummerSlam, where had it not been for Roman Reigns, he would have been champion. Solo tells him he will give him a rematch for that. Tells him he will give Solo a rematch for that title. Cody tells him it's because of Solo that Jacob Uso is injured, and he says, I don't even like that word. Solo is cosplaying the tribal chief. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Mm. Cody, what are you, 12? Impersonating is a better answer. Chances are half the people in the arena don't even know what you mean when you say cosplay, because a lot of them are going to be wrestling fans and so on and so forth. That's neither here nor there. He calls Solo delusional. The Bloodline gets in the ring, gets on the ring apron, but Kevin Owens jumps from the crowd and comes in with two steel chairs. The Bloodline backs down. Solo tells him he will deal with Cody later after he finds Roman Reigns. And let the drama begin. Whew. The Bloodline backs down, heads to the back, which, we know they're going to because they don't work off of even odds or even remotely close to even odds. They work in, 3, 4, 5-on-1 beatdowns, and that's just generally how the Bloodline's rolled for the last 4 years. So that's neither here nor there, and, the Bloodline's gone. It's Cody and Kevin standing there in the ring. Cody tells him he has an uncomfortable proposition for him. What is that uncomfortable proposition, you may ask? Well, as if Cody didn't learn from his time in AEW when he started giving all his friends title shots, he's decided that today he's going to give a friend a title shot. That's right. He looks right in Kevin Owens' face and says, I want to face you. And Kevin Owens throws his hands up in the air, gets on the mic and tells everybody that he appreciates the offer, but he just doesn't feel like he's worthy to be a champion. Even with the fans started to chant, you deserve it, and he had a feeling Owens would say no, but he didn't forget what Owens did for him for the past few months, so he is going to march right back there to boring Nick Aldis' office, and he's going to demand a match. And then he turns around and says, see you at the Bash at Berlin. We go to commercial. Back from commercial, Byron Saxton is backstage with the Street Profits. B-Fab says the Street Profits are motivated, determined, and on point. Yeah, it's always great to be on point. You don't want that point to be dull either. Montez Ford sarcastically congratulates the Bloodline on winning the titles, but the real tribal chief has come back. Angelo Dawkins says it's been 3 years since they've had gold. Really? Has it been that long already? It kind of does feel like it's been longer than that. Because, Roman Reigns was champion when Noah popped out. So, it feels kind of longer than 3 years, but 3 years sounds about right. All that stands in their way is A-Town Down Under. Cue that one. And that takes us to our WWE Tag Team Championship number 1 contenders match. A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford with B-Fab. Angelo Dawkins starts against Austin Theory. Grayson Waller distracts, and Theory attacks Dawkins from behind. Yada, yada, yada. Waller and Theory approach B-Fab at the ringside. We go to commercial break. I'm just going to escape this one right here because it was okay. They're setting up a split between A-Town Down, and I'm down with that because this thing hasn't felt normal since day one. It probably won't feel normal for at least 6 months after they're broke up. It was just a weird dichotomy and all that. So, it's one of those things. They got hammered, not really hammered, but beaten. And, of course, they start doing the side-eye and the side-eye and so on and so forth. And then we, Street Profits take it with a pinfall. Then the camera folds back to the SmackDown General's office. Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes is talking with SmackDown General Manager boring Nick Aldis. Kevin Owens is there, says he doesn't deserve a title opportunity. Aldis says he has been considering Roman Reigns, fresh out of the 4-month hiatus. He's been considering Roman Reigns, and that somehow triggers Kevin Owens. Even while Kevin Owens is trying to tell him I can find plenty of deserving people, let's just look back here in the locker room. As soon as he hears Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens goes, well, batshit crazy. Because apparently Roman Reigns is the trigger word for Kevin Owens, and it brings on PTSD, and Kevin Owens starts almost doing the whatever that kid's name is, Cornholio. He starts doing him a Cornholio right there live on television, starts talking to himself. He says, well, if Boring Nick Aldis is wanting to give it to Roman Reigns, and he hates Roman Reigns doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it either, so why the hell not just give it to him too? So now we're making matches with zero storyline. But that's okay. That's okay. It's WWE. And if WWE wants to make matches without storylines, that's perfectly okay because they are WWE. Anyway, coming up next, we'll hear from the new WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax, but not really because something happened. Something happened in the back, and this is the one thing that I can't really put my head around. I've been trying to get my head wrapped around it for quite a while now because I've been thinking about it all last night and pretty much through the day to figure out what it would have been that would have held up Nia Jax's celebration party. But anyway, we were supposed to have Nia Jax's celebration party. It has been moved to next Friday night for the Smackdown there. So we're going to escape that right there. Backstage segment. Miss Money in the Bank. 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 Tiffany Stratton is yelling at a stagehand about the decorations for Nia Jax. Pretty Deadly comes up to Stratton and asks if she'll plan a party for them when they win the WWE Tag Team Championship. That ain't going to happen anytime soon. And let's see here. I lost my train of thought. I do this every once in a while. They're thinking about a musical. Every time I hear them say I'm thinking about a musical, it's... Exactly. That's kind of how we all feel about it. But Stratton blows him off. Stratton walks down the hallway when she's stopped by Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who was studying about cults last month, so let's see how that book worked out for her. Green criticizes Stratton's wardrobe choice and decorations. Stratton asks if she has a ladder to fall off of. And Stratton says Green is delusional and storms off. In the progressive match flow, we go back to the Women's Tag Team Champions Alba Fire and Nyla Dawn joining forces with Blair Davenport last week in the arena. Jade Cargill begins to make her... my tongue is straight up tied tonight. We got more hurricanes coming next week, so got that on the back of my mind anyway. Jade Cargill makes her entrance alongside Bianca Belair. Cargill will be in action next. We go to a commercial break. And then when we come back, it's official. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will defend the undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens at Bash in Berlin, which I will be covering on Sunday. Probably along with my Collision coverage, Bash in Berlin and so on and so forth. I'll cover both of those on that Sunday, because the Covalent TV will be covering the after party of Bash at Berlin, and they will be covering Collision that day, and I don't want to have dueling streams, so we're not going to have dueling streams on that. I'll do mine on Sunday. They're going to do theirs on Saturday, just so you know. Jade Cargill with Bianca Belair versus WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Alba Fire with Isla Dawn. The bell rings and Fire kicks Cargill in the leg before backing up. Fire, blah, blah, blah. I can't read my own writing today. Fire applies a waist lock, but Cargill powers out of it and applies a waist lock. Cargill lifts Fire by the wrist, but Fire counters with a roll-up attempt. Cargill doesn't go down and punches her in the face. Cargill knocks her down in the corner, but Fire sidesteps her and connects with a super kick. Fire hits a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Fire attacks Cargill and applies an octopus stretch. Cargill drops down to a knee. Isla Dawn teases getting on the apron, but Bianca Belair scares her off. Cargill powers out of the octopus stretch, hits a power slam. Cargill soon hits the Jaded for the win. Cargill and Belair stand tall in the ring until Blair Davenport attacks them from behind. Fire and Dawn join in for the triple team. Naomi runs down and makes the save. Fire and Dawn cut her off until Cargill crushes Fire with a big boot. Dawn is knocked out of the ring and Davenport is sent packing. Cargill, Belair, and Naomi stand tall in the ring and they do their little pose and so on and so forth. Coming up next, we'll hear from the new United States champion, LA Knight, and we go to a commercial break. CM Punk and Randy Orton appear on the first 2 episodes. What? That don't even make sense. Blah, blah. Oh, yeah, CM Punk, yeah, it does. I wrote that down for a reason. CM Punk and Randy Orton will appear on the first 2 episodes of WWE NXT, which will air on the CW network in October. Just a little side note on that. One of them, they're going head-to-head with Battle of the Belts out of Seattle, Washington. And they're doing that one intentionally. That's the one Randy Orton's going to be live for there on October the 8th. I'm looking forward to seeing how that head-to-head goes. I think we've had a long time coming here, and we need a heat check anyway. So I'm not really hating on Randy Orton going to NXT for that particular moment because, let's face it, we need a legit heat check to find out where Dynamite is. And, of course, with Randy Orton on NXT, that's going to drive numbers as well. So there we go with that too. And that gets us back to the action here. United States Champion LA Knight. Wow, that sounds good saying. It's a mouthful, but it's been a long time coming. I know LA Knight did look at a replay of this thing at one point in time. So LA Knight, if you happen to look at this one, I just want to say congratulations, champ. You fucking deserve it. You fucking deserve it. You fucking deserved it for like a year now. Congratulations, champ. Anyway, United States Champion LA Knight makes his way down to the ring to a massive pop. Lou Ferrigno's on the side for whatever reason that is. And a massive LA Knight chant starts firing up. Yeah, it should be duly noted that they have Def Rebelled LA Knight, and they have also changed his entrance gear, or at least his entrance vest on that. But they've definitely Def Rebelled LA Knight, and we get into one of the, I'm just going to say this was an average promo type scenario here. And Santos Escobar, man, that shit was total cringe, dude. That shit was absolute cringe. Somebody needs to tell you, quit fucking around with people's gimmicks and stuff like that and trying to make them work like yours, because it damn sure didn't in that one. And you really almost look like a child molester, okay? So I'm just going to put that out there. Santos Escobar, no, just don't ever do that again. We were all sitting there going, that was pretty much what the crowd was doing too, because he got absolute. It was straight up crickets the whole way through there. This is the entire Santos Escobar replay for you. I don't know if you can hear all that or not. It's coming in pretty clear on my side, but we'll figure it out later. Santos Escobar comes out with Legado del Fantasma by his side. Escobar sarcastically goes into his crap. Knight says he couldn't hear what Escobar was saying because Tulsa was telling him that he sucked. That's pretty much an old line, a reused line. That's a John Cena line. LA, if you're within the sound of my voice, dude, I'm going to need a better promo next week. You got to start bringing some fire to go along with that gold, sir. I mean, they were nice enough to give you some gold. You need to bring fire out for it. So, you know, anyway. Thank you very much much for being here. Hey, like, gang, comment, gang, share the stream. See if we can get a few more viewers in here. There's only 5 right now, and I got a long ways to go and a long time to get there tonight. We're only 22 minutes into this stream, and I think it's going to be pretty good. Anyway, Knight says he couldn't hear what Escobar was saying because Tulsa was telling him that he sucked. Escobar deserves to be beaten by Knight to get a shot at the title. To get a shot at this title, you have to qualify. That'll happen soon. Escobar won't take this title from him because Knight just won't let him. This is his game, LA Knight, etc., etc. Then we have a commercial break here. Andrade begins making his way down to the ring. We have a commercial break. We get a video package for Giovanni Vinci. I thought he was gone. I didn't even know he was still on the roster. I thought they wrote him completely off at the end of Imperium when Nazi Boy beat the living shit out of him beside the ring. But, it is what it is. And, of course, because Andrade signed on the dotted line, we join this match in progress. Escobar's whipping Andrade into the ropes, but Andrade shoulder tackles him. Andrade soon runs over him with a second shoulder tackle, and Escobar rolls out of the ring to recover. Andrade wipes Escobar out with a plancha, and gets him back in the ring. Legado del Fantasma lurks around and attacks him. Escobar attacks Andrade for the 2 count. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, for whatever bloody fucking reason and no storyline whatsoever, that's the theme tonight for SmackDown. We're just going to start throwing stuff out there and see what sticks. No storyline whatsoever for Baron Corbin or there really honestly is no storyline for this whatsoever. There was no reason for them to be there. Back from the break, we go to commercial. Back from the break, Andrade fights up from a camel clutch applied by Escobar. Escobar elbows away at him, but Andrade hits the ropes and hits a running forearm. Andrade hits another running forearm and kicks up. Andrade goes for the double knee in the corner. So on and so forth. Let's just get on through this thing here. Electra's on the apron to distract the referee. Andrade ignores her and goes for the running double knee in the corner, but Hayes pulls Escobar out of the way. Escobar rolls Andrade up with the pin. After main roster fuckery, Santos Escobar is the challenger for LA Knight. We get a replay of last week on SmackDown, the Bloodline defeating DIY to win the WWE Tag Team Championship. We get another backstage segment. DIY is walking backstage. Tommaso Ciampa says the Bloodline stole the tag team titles from them last week. Johnny Gargano says the Bloodline beat him in front of his family. I'm so sorry, Johnny Wrestling. I'm so sorry they beat you in front of your family. I really am. It's terrible. I know it sucks, but you lost, and so on and so forth. They'll do whatever it takes to get back to the title picture. Pretty Deadly is where it all starts again. Then we get a video package honoring Kevin Sullivan. Y'all, Kevin Sullivan passed away. He was a mind in the business. He was a good wrestler. And that's all I got to say about Kevin Sullivan now. I would love to have flowery words for him, but I watched him. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't speak ill of the dead. In comes Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and they tell Nick Aldis, apparently people just have to ask for title matches around here, and they get them. Like Grayson Waller against Kevin Owens. Nick Aldis tells Theory that's a great idea, and Australian Miz, Grayson Waller, I'm sorry, Australian Miz will be taking on Kevin Cartman next week, etc., etc., etc. Then we go to the bell rings and we're underway. Both teams are in the ring, but it's DIY throws pretty deadly outside the ring. DIY goes for suicide dives pretty deadly with double uppercuts. They sit on the ring apron gloating, but DIY hit them with double drop kicks from inside the ring, followed by splashes over the top rope. We go to a commercial break. Back from commercial break, Ciampa's tagged in. He lands a double clothesline on Pretty Deadly in the ring. Gargano's tagged in. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're just going to get to the end of it. Gargano, DIY wins with the shatter machine on Prince, and they hit him with a meat in the middle. Gargano goes for the cover and gets the pin. We get to the backstage, and we see the Bloodline. Tama Tonga, a.k.a. Cornholio, tells Solo Sikoa that Roman Reigns is not there, and Solo tells him that Roman will be there, and they walk out to the ring. Hey, we're already to the main event. Ain't that something? Only 28 minutes into this stream. Thank God. And we go to commercial. Back from commercial, and the Bloodline are in the ring. Solo tells the fans to acknowledge him. They boo. And then they start saying, we want Roman, which is what they've been saying for the last 3.25 months. And Solo tells Roman that in case he hasn't noticed, that Solo Sikoa is now the tribal chief. And now Roman, if Roman calls him the tribal chief and wants to Ulafala back, he can come get it from him. Blah, 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 blah. Roman Reigns, I'm just going to escape the rest of that promo because it was ass. That's all there is. That's the best way to say it. The rest of that promo was ass. Y'all need to get Solo Sikoa in the back. You need to teach him cadence. You need to teach him stance. The only thing he got good with that promo was the fucking hard cam. He knows where to look and deliver that. And then I'm just going to tell you right now, this is what we're going to do. And if Roman wants to... I can't even have fucking hear what he says. Okay, so then Roman Reigns comes into the ring and... wow, it's on like Donkey Kong. Roman Reigns clears the ring out more than once, and, he sends the Bloodline packing, etc., etc. The crowd was hot for Roman Reigns. The one thing that really helped everything out here altogether was the fact that WWE had a very hot crowd for this one. The announcement of Roman Reigns actually probably kept them hot all night. And in a dark match, I do believe that Liv Morgan and Dirty Sanchez, lost their match in a dark match to Monster of Men, and I forget who was with him. I think it was Zelina Vega. I think it was Zelina Vega and the Monster of Men beat Liv Morgan and Dirty Sanchez in the dark match following this. But Roman Reigns cleared house, stared at him. Tonight was the night for SmackDown and promos that absolutely made not one fucking lick of sense. And then I'm going to move into Dynamite real quick. The follow whatever the crap that thing is, the peppers on the pepper necklace is, that's the best way I can do it because I'm not up to the lingo just yet or anything like that. Thank you. And we got 7 viewers in here. That's what I'm talking about right there. Soundboard's deciding it doesn't feel like working today. Even the soundboard hadn't got back from the hurricane yet. But yeah, the whole point of that was to get Solo and Roman in the ring. So I'm wondering who called the audible in that one to pull it all back out, because obviously somebody in the back called an audible because there wasn't that much of a stare down. There wasn't that much of anything. It just went straight into brutality. So I'm pretty sure somebody called an audible about that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am still waiting for Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns to lock eyes and lock mics. Because I do believe that Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns are going to make magic. Now, I know that our friends and other podcasts don't like this idea, but I like both of them, and I'm kind of still feeling what's left of this bloodline thing. Not by much, but a little bit of it. And I really think the money on that one right there is going to be Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. What would be even nicer is if they got Tala Tonga and Zilla Fatu in there as well, and we had like 4 really super good Samoans to mix in with the ones that are you know. I'm down with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still with the bloodline thing, but as you saw on my fire stories today, wow, we got 10 viewers. That was quick. Thank you. But as you saw in my fire stories today, which is used to be my angle of the week, I still think in terms of moving the needle in this particular scenario, between the wars within WWE, between SmackDown and Raw, I'm still thinking that Liv and, oh, come on. Liv and Rhea Ripley and Dirty Sanchez moved the needle way further today, or way further on Monday with Raw than we've moved the needle on SmackDown. And I understand there's levels to it, and I understand there's stages of it. But if we have to crawl through this thing, it's going to be a painful crawl. Because about 2/3 of it can actually work a mic, hold their own in the ring, and there's about 1/3 of it that can't, and the third that can't is going to be problematic for the 2/3. Now, you can call that whatever you want. You can call it a prediction. You can call it a spoiler. Just don't forget to call me for dinner, okay? Because I'm right on this one. If we crawl through this right now, it's going to expose more than it's going to build. So, Triple H, I would like to say, in all honesty and very respectfully, not even being the least bit sarcastic, turn and burn this sumbitch. Get to that next chapter, because I'm telling you right now, this ain't going to end like you think it ends. The way I've been watching this thing so far, if you're dependent on the Gorillas of Destiny to carry their end of this feud right here, they're going to have to be sideliners until they learn how the WWE way works. I know they're phenomenal. I know they're good athletes, but they're going to have to be sidelined until they figure out how this WWE thing works. You know, we've got a couple of botches and so on and so forth. But now that you've got Roman fucking Reigns in the building, aura personified to your WWE fans, like, they don't even start off an aura conversation without talking about Roman Reigns. I have not seen Solo, Tama, or Tonga in that conversation anywhere. I have seen Jacob Fatu in it. I have seen Zilla Fatu in it. The guy that's going to be playing Tala Tonga, I have seen him. Those 3 and Roman Reigns have enough aura to carry the whole show. At least for the fan base that you're working with on SmackDown. It would be a better idea to churn and burn this thing faster. I would like to see I would like to see it done, or at least in the next phase by November. It really needs to be there by November. And you guys need to go ahead and pull Nia Jax in so you'll have all the titles. Need to go ahead and pull the trigger on that part of the angle too, because she's floundering right now and she needs a place to rest for a little while. Keep that championship thing going alive. Now, once again, this is just my thoughts on it. But after watching this long enough and after ingesting enough of it and letting it circle around in my head, if you want to keep the fire going, this is probably the best way to do it. I don't see any other way. I just don't. I don't see any other way to make it work. But there again, I don't have the book. But anyway, that's where we're at right now with SmackDown. SmackDown I gave, okay, from a fan standpoint, it's going to be a 10 out of 10 because Roman Reigns was there and he did shit. From the average casual fan side, it's probably closer to a 5 or a 6 because these promos just flopped right on their head all fucking night. This was the night for, and they did it in Raw too. It's like you start off with a promo and then you counter promo your promo in the middle of your promo. That's what your opponent is supposed to be doing, not you. Randy Orton with the Legend Killer promo. But he's a legend, so what does that mean? He's going to kill himself? Really? No. Promos need a lot of help on that. From an analytical standpoint, I'm at about a 2. Moment of the night for SmackDown was probably at that point in time right before Roman Reigns hit the ring. I would have liked to have had a DB counter on that Coliseum like they did for France. My guess is it probably hit 150 decibels. I'm not even going to lie. Everybody I know that was there said it was so loud they couldn't hear themselves think. And that's hard to do because that arena is very sound. And I'm not saying that as a joke. It's acoustically sound. So it's set up for loud crowds so that you can still hear yourself thinking. So to hear fans coming in and, hey, 2 Trill for life, I just now saw that. How you doing? So to have fans saying, I couldn't hear myself think, I'm thinking they hit at least 130. Probably 150. They got a lot of fans. It spiked social media. My social media was just banging left and right. But from an analytical standpoint, yeah, I'm still at a 3 to a 5, somewhere in that range there. From a fan standpoint, obviously it's a 10. From a casual fan standpoint, 5 to 6, maybe 7. Moment of the night, of course, with Roman Reigns standing there just getting ready to handle business. So if you thought something else about it, be happy. Throw me a chat. Get these chats popping. Come on, guys. I saw somebody chat, so I know chat works. Let's get these chats popping. Tell me what you think. I really want to hear it. I would like to have a longer stream having conversations with y'all. But if you want me to just barrel through this thing, I can barrel through it too. I'm just saying overall, I can, if you interact with me, I'll interact with you right back. I don't have a problem with that. I'm very comfortable behind this mic now. I'm not nervous. You're not going to throw me off or anything like that. I'm going to throw my own self off if anybody else does. It's going to be me throwing me off. Give me just 1 second here. That thing just keeps going off and blowing up. I don't want to hear dings while I'm trying to give y'all this good work. Been working on this one for 2 days. I ain't going to let it get messed up with a ding. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Let's move on to Rampage. In Rampage, that can only mean it's Rampage. That can only mean one thing: Private Party and Butcher are here. The matches we had to deal with tonight were Darby Allin versus the Butcher, Wheeler Yuta versus Rocky Romero, Private Party versus the Dawsons, and Saraya versus Nyla Rose. That was a good match too, by the way. AEW Rampage. We see a graphic acknowledging the loss of Kevin Sullivan. Once again, not going to go there. From the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which is in my hometown of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I do not live there anymore, but thank you, Winston-Salem. You guys showed up. You showed out. And you made wrestling proud just by being there. So thanks for doing that. All right, so anyway, match number 1, we got Darby Allin versus the Butcher. What in the world did I start writing there? It just didn't make sense. Okay, big boot by the Butcher before body slamming Darby into the turnbuckle and into the ropes. Basically, guys, this match right here was a Donnybrook, or as big old, good old JR would call it, this here was a slobber knocker. That's exactly what it was, a slobber knocker. Big boot by Butcher before body slamming Darby into the turnbuckle and into the ropes. Darby is bleeding out of his mouth already, so Butcher throws him into the steel steps outside. Butcher throws himself into Darby. Darby moves out of the way. He hits the steel guardrail. Coffin drop from the top floor by Darby. Back in the ring, Butcher runs over Darby with a shoulder block and sends him into the corner with a big shotgun drop kick. Texas Cloverleaf by the Butcher as Darby can't reach the ropes, so Butcher power bombs him. Butcher sets Darby up on the top rope, and for some odd reason, at some point in time here, Darby flips it back around on the Butcher. Choke breaker by the Butcher into a powerbomb, 2 count. Butcher tries to set Darby up for the suplex, but he bites his ear and delivers an avalanche code red, and then Coffin drops him for the win. We'll talk about this one here for just a second because I want to shout out the Butcher. Because the Butcher's worth shouting out. He's what we call enhancement talent in these things. He is not by any way, stretch, or means a jobber. The Butcher is a hell of a wrestler, okay? He wrestles really fucking good. And he makes great enhancement talent when you're building storylines for everything that everybody says AEW does not do, which is storylines. This is a storyline, guys. The story's just being told in the ring. Now, I realize Darby Allin is a significantly smaller opponent to him, but that makes all the more sense because if Darby Allin can beat the Butcher, he can. Okay, thanks for joining us. Backstage, Jay Lethal challenges Adam Page for a match next week. Match number 2, Wheeler Yuta versus Rocky Romero. Danielson is out there on commentary, and here we go. Rebound kick by Rocky and a right-handed uppercut. Elbow suicide by Yuta. We're headed to, thank you, whatever that was, thank you. I can't see everything, guys, so when I hear the dings go off, I hear them on my side. I just can't see everything. Thank you very much. If that was a donation, that's even better. But I'm just glad you're here, and once again, shout out to the 8 people who are here. I think we lost 2, but you never know. But thank you to those who are here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Yuta comes out off the top rope with a diving crossbody, and we're down for 2 as we go to commercial. Yuta tries to slow the pace down and does, chopping Rocky in the corner. Sliced bread on the floor by Rocky, and we're going to commercial. Back from commercial break, Rocky has a chin lock on, frustrating Yuta. Rocky misses a corner charge, but gets tripped into the middle rope. Forever clotheslined by Rocky, but he gets caught with a clothesline of his own. Super hard chops in the center of the ring. I'm going to escape the rest of this right now. Long story short right here, Wheeler Yuta picks up the win. He will be fighting MJF on Dynamite on Wednesday, so be sure to catch the Wheeler Yuta and MJF match on Dynamite on Wednesday. Anyway, yeah, Wheeler Yuta picks up the win. Match number 3, Private Party. I'm going to escape that because it was mostly a joke. It was mostly a joke match. I like Private Party. I'm glad they won. But it was just gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick move. And I'm glad they won. Don't get me wrong. Private Party needed that win. I said on the preview show that if they're going to keep Private Party around, this is the night they need to win a match. And by God, they went out and did it. They won it in fairly convincing style, etc. It's just that, and then we get a video package of Deonna Purrazzo, and she will summon a symphony of violence with a bull rope for the match that we're going to be covering here just very shortly after this. Dustin Rhodes is here talking about how he's given Sammy Guevara a chance at redemption in Ring of Honor. Sammy Guevara, long story short, Sammy Guevara's on Dustin Rhodes' team. Excuse me, I'm trying my best not to sneeze. It's been a crazy day. Match number 4, Saraya with Harley Cameron. Blessed in all areas of the world, blessed in looks, blessed in talent, blessed on the mic, blessed all the way across. Saraya and Harley Cameron. Once again, Tony Khan, I'm going to say this every week on the show until like somebody listens and tells you on this one here. You were talking about at the scrum from, I think it was Double or Nothing, that you're thinking about bringing in some tag team titles for the females, some mid-card titles, some trios titles, etc., etc., etc. There is absolutely zero reason that Harley Cameron and Saraya can't take those titles and make something out of them. They got the looks, obviously. They're going to draw the guys, okay? And they can wrestle. And they can run ropes. So I don't see the point in not putting the titles on them to get started. Wow, we're up to 11 viewers. I don't see why can't put the titles on them to start and build a little bit of legacy there. Plus, it gives Saraya a shot at some gold here for a while. And shout out to Saraya for coming back from that neck injury to fight with, oh my God, Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is a big old hunk. I'm telling you right now, she's hard to beat. She's a big old girl. Saraya attacks early and throws Nyla into the steel steps, and Saraya jumps a sleeper. Long story short, Saraya wins. I do have something here I would like to share, though. If I can get it to load. That's the question. Can I get it to load? Because if I can... No, I can't get it to load. Sorry, we're done. Wow, that's just a lot of stuff that needs to load, too. What in the world is all that? Whoo. Boy, that looks cute. Anyway, I was going to load a file to show you that because I actually got a hold of the file mid-match where they were having a discussion about using the Rampage. And Saraya pops up in the middle of the ring and goes, "That's not what it's called anymore. It hadn't been that for 2 years." Shout out to damn Harley Cameron for playing the whole guilty. You're right. I'm sorry. I totally forgot, mate. Shout out to fucking Harley Cameron for pulling that off. Overall entertaining. Saraya picks up the win. It was a decent episode of Rampage this week with some stronger name recognition, obviously. And they advanced all the storylines going into All In, so it seems to me like that was just straight up what it was. I can't speak enough about what it takes to put that Rampage show together. Let me break this down for you real quick, guys. They do the Collision, or they do the Dynamite show on Wednesday. And for those of y'all who didn't know, which I think everybody does know anyway, Rampage is taped. And they were in the middle of a hurricane. Well, not a hurricane anymore. It was a tropical storm. But it had blocked all the flights coming in and everything else. People literally drove to put this show on for you. They drove to put Dynamite on. They drove to put Rampage on. Some of them arrived early because they live in the South and they know how our southern weather goes. So they were damn sure there early so that we wouldn't miss anything and we wouldn't get screwed out of any of the action. So for everybody that was sitting there bitching and moaning about Dynamite and then said, well, you know, Rampage wasn't that much better, you got to remember, these athletes literally put their life on the line to get over there to you to put this show on. So both of these shows get an automatic 7 from me just because you showed up. And they deserved your attention. Because I can tell you right now, if that's a WWE situation right there, they'd find some local talent and anybody that was local to the cities they're going in, and they would have just built the show around them. They just said, fuck y'all this week. They have done that in the past, by the way. When there was an inclement weather situation, when weather was a problem, I have seen a few shows get screwed up too. And everybody's like, oh, well, it's bad weather. It happens at Dynamite and Rampage, like, man, this is bullshit. They didn't even bring... You know what? Screw it. Stop that, okay? Just stop it. As a viewer, as a fan, I'm pretty tired of the tribalism anyway. But that right there is the most rancid, zesty, nasty form of tribalism you could ever have. That's like wishing one of them would get hurt. And I see some of y'all out there. I didn't do a red light tonight because the red lights were so bad. If I'd have read them, we wouldn't have a stream. I'm telling you. They were that bad tonight. I went looking for something that was mild, tame, and funny, and all I found was janky, zesty, and fucked up. That's what I found. Yeah, I was looking for some red lights tonight, and it's like, y'all were just on some stupid shit. I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Respectfully. And with Dynamite done, that only leaves one more show here. We're going into your AEW Collision, which just wrapped up here roughly about an hour ago. And you notice when it's a really good show. Last time I did this show last week, I had about 40 people in here. like 40 people in there. So it was a really good collision show, and I'm going along with Covalent on this one. Whenever there's a really good AEW show, my viewership is off. And now, granted, I'm not as well viewed as they are. I will be. But that notwithstanding, Collision put on a hell of a show tonight. So let's chop this motherfucker up and let's get on into it. AEW Collision come to you live August 10th, Esports Stadium in Arlington, still doing the residency there. I like the way they do that. They make it sound like a Vegas show. I love it. I love it. They use terms that you can easily understand, because all of y'all are music fans, and every music fan has done an internship at Las Vegas. Every single one of them. You know? So this right here, this is just right up your alley right here. So we kick things off with Darby Allin making his way down for our opening contest. The crowd shows appreciation for the former TNT champion as Hologram makes his way out next. The Luchador getting a... Hologram's the shit, y'all. Hologram is the real fucking deal. There is just no other way to put it. Hologram is fucking awesome. I just could never stop talking about Hologram if my life depended on it. If somebody put a gun to my head and said, shut up about Hologram, my brains be all over the wall. No kidding. I'm not even joking. And with what Tony's losing, because we can confirm that Tony's losing the Lucha Brothers. And we do have the backstage story on it. I do have the official story on it. And I'm not going to play into the drama. Some people else might want to play into the drama. Y'all might want to stoke the drama up. I mean, you know, God knows the WWE neckbeards don't have enough to talk about right now as it is. So I'm not going to get into the story. It does involve the Young Bucks. It does involve a breakdown in communication, as the Lucha said. And I am more likely to believe that than I am some of this lame bullshit that I read about on other moves and so on and so forth. I can believe that they were put off by, you know, I can believe they were put off by the Young Bucks. I can believe that. I can believe that story. I can get behind that story. I'm just not going to keep feeding into it. Lucha Brothers are heading to WWE. I wish you guys the best. Nothing but the best. I hope WWE doesn't nerf you because you're beautiful to watch in the ring. The movesets are off the chain. We're going to miss you. And I'm going to wish you the best when you get there. Nothing but titles. I hope you guys get tag titles quick. Because if anybody deserves to walk in and do an Ethan Page in the middle of WWE, it's you guys. I know that. The world knows that. And we are looking forward to seeing you perform on WWE just as well as I do on AEW. See, now I'm going to have to watch the show more diligently because you're going to be on it. I'm a fan. When I say I'm a fan, I say I'm a fan. I'm not necessarily a fan of everything WWE does. I'm not terribly a fan of their style. I like wrestling. One thing I left out on the Smackdown review just a few minutes ago, 27 or 29 minutes of wrestling in a 2-hour show. That means that we had literally an hour and a half to an hour and 31 minutes of talking, commercials, and everything else. 27 minutes. Okay? Lucha Brothers, best of luck. Hope you don't get caught up in the vortex because you're just way too damn good for that. And if anybody should be tag team title, if anybody should get a championship walking in the door like Ethan Page did, it should be you guys. That's how I feel about it. Best of luck. Mean that from the bottom of my heart. Can't say it enough. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for everything you've done and what you're going to do. So we got Hologram making his way down next, and the Luchador is definitely getting a pop. We saw that. I already covered that part from the Arlington crowd as he heads to the ring. The crowd pops even louder as he climbs up to the turnbuckle and does his little entrance way into it. And then we've got Darby Allin and Hologram versus the Premier Athletes. I'm going to escape that whole bullshit entrance where he steps all over the lady doing the announcing and everything else. I don't have time for that. It's rude. It's not funny. It's not even a good angle. It's not even cheap heat. I'm skipping it. I am escaping that altogether. Start off with Woods and Hologram, the athletes locking up. This was a very fast-paced back and forth scenario all the way across the board. Shout out to the Premier Athletes, and I do believe that's Josh Woods and Tony Nese on this one. I know there's one more Premier Athlete in there somewhere. I just can't remember his name. Shout out to all four guys, because all four guys brought it and brought it and brought it and brought it and brought it. Now, Darby Allin just had his ass whipped on Wednesday, obviously. So he was moving a little bit slow, and obviously he's worse for wear on some of this stuff. Tony, I think you need to give him a week off, let him rest. I'm just saying that because some of that looked like fatigue. Some of it looked like he'd been burning the candle at both ends again, and we definitely don't want him to burn out before we get to All In. So just thought you might want to give him some time off and so on and so forth. But yeah, this was a good back and forth. Darby catches Nese by surprise with a near fall as Woods tries to intervene, but to no avail as Hologram gets in for an assist, etc., etc. Darby Allin looks for a tag deeper on it. I'm getting deeper on into the match because these things are, my notes are extensive, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear every single word that I wrote down because I don't want to hear it either. But it's all good here. Woods takes him down but only gets a near fall before tagging Nese back in. A body slam by Tony leads to another tag. The athletes trade off slams to keep Darby isolated until Darby catches Nese by surprise with a cradle for a 2 count. Darby looks for the tag, but Woods knocks Hologram off the apron. Good old heel tactic. Now that was good tactic right there. There's nothing wrong with that one. That was great. As Nese gets him to keep on, as Nese grabs him to keep on the attack, this continues until Allin evades the athletes to tag the Hologram. All hell breaks loose because that's how Hologram rolls. All hell breaks loose and so on and so forth. Winners by pinfall, Darby Allin and Hologram in a cheat code of a match. This thing was an absolute cheat code, wasn't a mini cheat code. It was a fantastic match. By the way, WWE had a mini cheat code. They did. Shout out to them near the end. That was a mini cheat code. So I will give WWE their flowers because that was a mini cheat code. So if you guys that left want to come back, that's perfectly fine. I would say the ending segment was a mini cheat code. It just didn't progress as far as Liv and Rhea did at Monday Night Raw. So I'm just not that thrilled about the entirety of the angle yet. I think it needs to cook. I think it needs to simmer just a little bit longer. I think we're going to be in a lot better shape by the time we get to November. We'll have clearly defined roles and so on and so forth. But that match with Darby Allin and Hologram against Premier Athletes was an absolute cheat code. Premier Athletes can bring it in the ring. I've noticed that. I'm proud of them. I like watching them work. I really like watching Hologram work. I'm trying very hard to keep focused on this and not think about Hologram and Ricochet or Hologram and Will Ospreay or Hologram and another Hologram Beast Mortos. Hologram in a combine. Hell, I don't know. Put Hologram against a combine. I just want to see Hologram wrestle more. Exactly. Winners by pinfall, Darby Allin and Hologram. Video package in the back narrated by Dustin Rhodes. We get a look at Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. Their paths coming in tonight for this Texas Bull Rope match. I am going to spend time on this. This was the match of the week for me. And it had absolutely nothing to do with the women actually bleeding in this match. A lot of people get sensitive with that. They're fine when men get busted open. They're fine when all hell breaks loose in a man's match. As soon as women start bleeding, everybody wants to start crying. And if you want a quality jack, that's how it works. Now, in that particular scenario right there, I do not believe women have to bleed on television every week. Now, if it got to that point, I would agree with you. It'd be too much violence. And, yeah, then at some point in time, I would have to rethink my way, or I'd have to revisit my thought patterns on that whole scenario. But Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder motherfucking Rosa. I'm going to say that one more time. Deonna Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa. Again, This is like the longest feud I've been able to hang on to. Shout out to both of them. What am I looking for here? Shout out to both of them. I ain't going to hit a sound bite because my soundboard stopped working again. It must be one of those nights, guys. It just really must. Shout out to them, though. God, they put up a brand of work that two-thirds of all of the promotions. See, I'm not singling out WWE. I'm saying these two ladies put the kind of work in the ring tonight that two-thirds of the promotion's men wouldn't even look at twice. Now, I realize it didn't look as fantastic as when the guys do it and they go through tables and stuff like that. But this match grinded. This match grinded. It cooked, it grinded, it advanced the storyline. They bled for real. Anyway, Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, the two are so eager to get at each other, doing a bit of tug of war on the bull rope. Thunder gets a right hand on Purrazzo. Deonna quickly turns this around before leaving the ring. And the beauty of a bull rope match is you're never more than 12 feet away from your opponent. There is nowhere they can run to. They got to drag you with them. I don't know if Deonna Purrazzo caught that part of it, but I am 100% sure that had she caught that part of it, she probably wouldn't have been dumb enough to jump out of the ring right away. Thunder Rosa utilized that to drag her back to the ring and into the ring apron. Very hard, very hard. This was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Thunder Rosa was the first one to bleed. She was the first one to eat the kettlebell. So she was the first one to bleed. And when she came up there looking at it, that look, Tony Khan, you should have gotten a really good photo of that, and that should be on a damn poster. That should be on your shirts. That should be on your limited prints right there. That one look when she rose up and the blood was just starting to trickle down, and that look in her face, that right there is a print you can sell. I'm just saying. Because that had about aura times 1,000 to it. Because I'm 100% sure that 99% of the people in that arena had not seen a woman bleed, ever. So they're already, you could see when they flashed out to it. The look on some of their face, now some of the sickos up front, they were all into it. Yeah, knock her ass out, you know. But the ones in the back, you could see it. They were sitting there looking like, oh my God, she's really bleeding. And if anything deserved this as awesome chant, that match deserved it for the whole fucking match. Anyway, it was back and forth, back and forth. Thunder Rosa hit her through the table with a shoulder, and then a shoulder breaker. And it was enough to pick up the win. They got them unhooked, and it looked like two Amazonian warriors on the short side, mind you, because they're not Amazons. It looked like two Amazonian warriors coming out of battle. It was just one of those moments. That's another one you should have got a shot of, Tony. That should be in a print and on a shirt, too. Because I'm betting you right there, that would sell. I am not even kidding. I'm not joking. I think that would sell out in probably 25, 30 minutes. Overall, this was a hell of a match. I gave it 7 stars. I don't care what Dave gives it. I'm giving it 7 stars. Winner by pinfall, Thunder Rosa. The ref checks on Deonna, removing the rope as Thunder celebrates the win. We get another video package straight out of the fucking 70s and 80s featuring the Outrunners doing a very bad take of Miami Vice. Oh my God. Woo. That was definitely retro, guys. I got to give it to you. And I know you're going to give me hell with this, too. I know I'm going to catch hell later on, guys. The Outrunners are good guys, by the way. Occasionally I get messages from them. I get comments and so on and so forth. They are really good guys, and if you think they're funny in the ring, they're just as funny out of the ring. Now, they're not R-Truth funny, and I don't think they intend to be R-Truth funny, but they are fucking hilarious inside and outside of the ring. And that Starsky and Hutch original version you guys were popping out there, you know what? That was, give me just a moment. I did not mean to hit that one, but I'm glad one of them worked. Let's see here. That was an awesome video package. So as you see, AEW is trying to listen to you. They're already doing in-ring segments. They're coming up with video packages to introduce people. The Jack one, that one, Jack Perry's, that we finally got to see the whole thing since the Taco Bell commercial. And for those of y'all who didn't know that, they ran that same promo, or they ran that same segment during Dynamite, and it got cut in the middle by a Taco Bell commercial. So we didn't know if the whole damn thing was a commercial or what. No, it was just something for Jack Perry. And it got cut off by a fucking Taco Bell commercial. It was hilarious. Anyway, back at ringside, FTR makes their way to the ring as we get a look back at the situation between them and the Acclaimed last week. They should start calling them the Acclaimed. I guarantee you, FTR, if you called them the Acclaimed, the entire building would blow up. I don't know if you're listening to me on that, but if you are, if you started calling them Acclaimed, the entire arena would probably erupt. Okay. So we get the piece from last week with the Acclaimed, and it's FTR, Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler versus the Outrunners, Turbo Magnum and Truth Floyd. We start things off with Dax and Turbo, with Dax taking Turbo down, only for Magnum to show off with a pose. And Cash looks at him square in the face and points over to the hard cam and says, "Hey dude, hard cam's over there." Like, he's trying to coach him on where to do the hard cam's over there, sir. Cash tags in with a pose of his own before they lock up. Magnum hits the ropes while he takes Wheeler down with a shoulder tackle. Exchange of holds leads to Cash getting a couple of shoulder tackles. I'm sorry, guys. All I can do to keep from sneezing tonight. We still got these storms going on here. Tag made to Dax as FTR take Turbo down, allowing Dax to get the 2 count. Floyd tries to intervene, but this leads to all 4 men going at it. Before FTR and the Outrunners are outside the ring, we go to picture-in-picture. Picture-in-picture, Dax manages to fight off the Outrunners when he goes to the outside, heading back into the ring with Magnum. Gets caught one boot and on the hand by Hardwood. Tag made to Cash, who drops Turbo with a body slam, and we go to full commercial. Back from the break, Floyd gets the tag and blah, 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 Cash, blah, blah, blah. At the end of it right there, I was trying to give you just a few of the highlights of it. FTR win. It advances the storyline going into All In. They keep on their winning ways. It kind of worries me a little bit. I would like to see them lose, and I would like to see me sneeze to get this itch out of my nose, but I apologize. I would like to see them lose just to add a little bit of So anyway, we get back here, back for blah, 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 blah. Winners by pinfall, FTR. We already covered that. Uh-oh. We got a problem. Bear with me just a minute while I get all of my other stuff together here, because I've got something that's out of order, and I knew there was something out of order here, so bear with me while I get everything back in order. That way I don't start talking stupid shit here. There we go. Got it right back in order. It didn't take but a minute. I knew it wouldn't. Got to keep my notes together. FTR celebrated ringside as we get a graphic confirming the AEW World Championship match between the Acclaimed and Young Bucks on Dynamite. Backstage, we hear from Kip Sabian before Nick Wayne interrupts him down ahead of their match next week on Rampage. That was just one bullshit segment after another. I'm not going to give that one a whole lot of talk on it because it was absolutely horrible. Back at ringside, no, I'm sorry. We get another commercial break. We come back. We get a video package. MJF talks more smack after his win over Kyle Fletcher. His eyes still set on destroying Will Ospreay once more at All In. That's not going to happen. Will Ospreay is going to pick the title back up. At least in my humble opinion, I think Will Ospreay is going to pick the title back up at All In. And I'm not even going to shout out MJF for leaning into this crap because I'm going to say something here about MJF that's probably going to piss people off, and I don't give a shit. WWE, you should have hired him. He's been clowning for you guys ever since he got back. He was clowning for you in the off time. He clowned for you when he got back. He's clowning for you right now with this over-the-top MAGA bullshit. Okay, that's really what it is. It's over-the-top MAGA bullshit, and I'm already over it. I hope Will Ospreay just beats the rails off of him, and we get that done. I hope it's a blow-off match too. Back at ringside, Roosh makes his way to the ring for the next match, arranged by Don Callis as a way to prove that the man is worthy and that he wants to be a champion, etc., etc. Roosh versus Preston Vance was definitely not a whole lot to write home about. Roosh did Roosh shit, beat him down. It was a squash match. It was pretty much over with before it started. Winner by pinfall was Roosh, and he tried to get some extracurricular activity in, but the referees are well far ahead of him. It should be duly noted that Preston Vance also got busted open and bled, and I didn't see the need for it in this storyline. He said hurt him. There were a lot of other ways to do it, plus we already had blood in the Thunder Rosa-Deonna Purrazzo match. I thought it was a little early to hit some more blood in the show. That's just me. It's a constructive criticism. If you're going to have blood, try to limit it to things that it really needed to be in. The bull rope match it needed to be in. Now we move into the next one, guys, and I'm going to give you a little situation with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. If they're listening, because I know Thunder Rosa listens occasionally, and I know Deonna Purrazzo listens occasionally. Just because I got 12 people in here doesn't mean wrestlers don't listen to it, and I don't hear back from them. In fact, I got a wrestler in my DM who shall remain nameless, wants me to help him with his social media. So they watch whether y'all watch or don't watch. I don't give a damn. As long as the important people watch, I'm happy. But I think the next match, because you can actually work with it, you don't have to bleed, and you can get really, really frisky with it, you should do a four corners match and let Dustin show you how to do. I think Thunder Rosa knows how to do them. I'm not sure Deonna Purrazzo knows what a four corners match is. But get in there, work on it just a little bit, knock it out, and try a four corners match, because I think if you added a four corners match to this feud right here and then had a really solid blow-off at All In, and this feud needs to be blown off after a while. We need a blow-off. We need a blow-off match here, probably, I would say at the latest 3 months from now, maybe. But yeah, if you were going to the next match here, since we did the Texas Bull Rope match, which was absolutely phenomenal, I have not seen a Texas Bull Rope match put on like that in for fucking ever. Four corners match probably wouldn't be a bad thing either. But anyway, you know, Roosh got the pinfall, tried to do some extracurricular activity. I'm escaping Don Callis and that bullshit. We get the vignette from Jack Perry, where we get the full vignette this time. Sans the Taco Bell commercial, which I still think is fucking hilarious. Yeah, that was just really, really, really fucking hilarious. Back at ringside, Swerve Strickland makes his way to the ring for an open challenge. He says he runs Brian Danielson ahead of All In. He runs down Brian Danielson ahead of All In. I don't know why I wrote that down. He did kind of run him down a little bit, but, you know, he's just doing swerve shit. And I swerve when I drive too, sir. I swerve when I drive. I'm not even kidding. Let's see here. Where are we at? Back at ringside, blah, 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 blah. And he's coming out to whose house? And, of course, everybody goes Swerve's house. And Prince Nana talks the champ up as the most dangerous man in the world right now. Yeah, the most dangerous man in AEW. Anyway, Tomohiro Ishii makes his way to the ring to answer this open challenge. And of course, the best part of it now, what I thought was the cherry on top of this match, and I'm not getting ahead, it's just while it's fresh on my mind, because I do have a tendency to forget things sometimes while I'm running my mouth, the segment where Prince Nana is walking back and forth, talking to himself, this close to all in, this close to all in. Boy, he is really talking up Ishii like he's the second coming of God. Which, shout out to AEW for letting Ishii wrestle his fucking match instead of being a chop fest. And I really hope I hear something out of Mr. Starks and Werner on that one on Monday. Because usually our chief complaint on Ishii is it's a chop fest. You know, I said the last time that I saw Ishii, and when I did a review, I said, dear Tony, I've seen Ishii wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And what you got him doing in America is fucking stupid. So let Ishii wrestle his match, and let's see how it goes. Apparently, Tony had the same idea, because I don't even pretend to believe that Tony Khan listens to me. But apparently Tony Khan had the same idea as basically the rest of us did. Because when Ishii came out to see Swerve, we got an Ishii match. Very few chops, very few stupid shit that most of the Japanese and the luchadors do when they come to America. Instead of doing the full-on lucha style, they'll chop each other, backflips, and do all that other crap. Ishii put together a tight-ass match on this one. He had Swerve. He had you thinking that he could win as we got down to the last third of that match. You thought for sure Ishii was going to go over on Swerve. That's good storytelling. That's good wrestling. Shout out to frickin' Swerve Strickland. That's for you, Swerve. That was a hell of a match. Ishii. Very few chops, good exchanges, good in-ring work, good rope hits, good everything. Everything was clean, crisp. That was a New Japan-style wrestling match. So for those of y'all who wonder how Ishii actually wrestles, you can go back and rewatch that Swerve match. That one to me had 4 stars written all over it, just because they didn't make Ishii do all the chops and shit. I was very pleased to see Ishii in the ring doing a New Japan Pro Wrestling match. So, we get into your AEW World Title Eliminator, Swerve Strickland versus Tomohiro Ishii. Tomohiro takes the fight straight to the champ, and he does his standard stand there and hit me if you can type scenario, and so on and so forth. But overall, yeah, suplex attempts. We had a little bit of everything in this match here. We had chain wrestling. We had sequences. We had outside. And look what they did, WWE. They used the whole area. Again, just like in Dynamite, MJF, Kyle Fletcher, they used the whole area, and they used it. They got up in the fans. Now, I know I'm not wrong about this, because I was listening to Bully Ray one time when he was trying to script DMD's Britt Baker. When he was trying to script Britt Baker's return, these were his exact words. Britt Baker, hop out of the ring, go straight up in the crowd, and cut your promo from the crowd. So even if your butt buddy is telling you that's the way to go, have you ever thought that that might actually be the way to go? They used the whole ring. They used the whole outside. They used a lot more than just the announce desk. WWE. Anything that happens outside the ring 9 times out of 10 happens at the announce desk. One spot, Now, granted, it could drive the prices up of the tickets behind the announce desk because you're almost damn sure guaranteed to get some action out of a WWE show. If you're sitting right behind the announce desk, you're almost guaranteed to get it. Every show, every one, every time. Sometimes 3-4 times in the same damn show. They don't use the rest of the outside, and they damn sure don't go in the crowd. So shout out to Swerve and Ishii for using the entirety of the outside. It was a good back and forth match. Swerve, excuse me, I'm sorry. Bear with me just 1 second here. We're an hour and a half into this thing, and I guess my voice only holds up for like an hour and 15 minutes, so bear with me here. Swerve Strickland picks up the pinfall with the house call. He tried it a couple of times. Ishii dodged it. Ishii tried to do some things. Swerve dodged it. Swerve picks up the win with the house call, though. Absolute, almost full cheat code match. Definitely a mini cheat code. Shout out to Ishii. Shout out to Swerve Strickland for putting that thing on the way they did. Swerve celebrates as we are reminded that the champ is in action again Wednesday against Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite, and I've got a feeling that one's going to be a flat cheat code too, because Wheeler Yuta is about, I don't know, 100.5 pounds lighter and about 10 times faster with a lot of the skills that Ishii has. So this made a good warm-up for Swerve. I almost feel like Swerve was in the back saying, don't do that chop shit. Let's go out there and tear the house down. Because he needed this warm-up so that he can face Wheeler Yuta on Wednesday. Because Wheeler Yuta is just basically a very young Ishii as far as movesets and everything else. So shout out to them for getting that one in and getting Swerve a warm-up match for All In. Now, see, that made total sense. He's like, wait a minute, I'm fighting Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta is more of a martial arts, MMA type guy right here. Let me have Ishii and let me get my feet wet. See, this is... Shout out to AEW for that. Just shout out to AEW for practicing their craft in the ring and not in a remote location in Puerto Rico. I'm sorry. I had a cough there. Puerto Rico. Try not to have it at Puerto Rico. Anyway. Winner by pinfall, Swerve Strickland. Swerve celebrates, blah, blah, blah. We're reminded about Wednesday. Backstage, Claudio Castagnoli talks about facing Okada for the Continental Championship when Dynamite heads to Cardiff, Wales. Back at ringside. Give me just one moment here. Voice is definitely starting to give out, so bear with me here just a little bit. I apologize. Back at ringside, Stokely Hathaway introduces Chris Statlander. As the pair head to the ring, we get a look at Willow Nightingale and said last night on Rampage before talking to Ishii. What she said last night before talking to Ishii, she steps off and she says, I have an idea, and blah, blah, blah. And so the idea was for Willow Nightingale, Willow, and Ishii versus Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander. I let that sit there for a minute. I remembered everybody's name, but I just wanted to let that one sit there for just a minute. Stokely Hathaway, that look in his eyes was like, at least he had the right facial gestures, but I don't know about y'all, but I mean, a lot of stuff Stokely's doing right now is a whole lot of... In fact, every time he starts running his mouth, I can just remember the old Charlie Brown thing of wah, 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 wah. That's really what it sounds like. And if he screams louder, it's like, oh, wah, oh, wah, wah, wah. That's really, I'm seriously, that's where I'm at right there. And then we go to commercial, back from commercial break, Top Flight, and M&M, MXM Collection. I'm just going to bypass that one altogether. I'm going to escape that one because that was... What am I looking for here? That was the entirety of that entire backstage thing, except for Leo Rush. Leo Rush came in with the phone saying that, give me just 1 second here because I want to make sure I get everybody's name correct here. That Top Flight and MXM Collection would be going at it next Saturday at Collision. To which they said no, they weren't, and so on and so forth. Then they shrunk back down, and it was like, oh my God. Yeah. Just made me want to, without that high pitch. Okay, back to the ring. Hikaru Shida versus Aaliyah James. Aaliyah James, one of the new faces on the circuit here with us here at AEW. And she looks like she could really go. Aaliyah James looks like she could really go. It still turned out to be a squash match. Back in the back, Hikaru Shida was saying she wanted some real competition, but that comes after we get the sit-down interview, the second half of the sit-down interview between Jim Ross, good old JR, and Bryan Danielson, who talked about signing alongside JR 24 years ago. That means we're going into year number 25. Bryan Danielson also revealed that he was going to need neck surgery by the end of the year. I wish he hadn't have said that because it gives me a really sinking feeling that he's done it all in. This is where they get a little overboard with it and they get a little glad-handy with their promos. So if we know for a fact he's going to have neck surgery by the end of the year, since that's what he told JR, it kind of leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, All In's going to wind up being his last match. And you know what? In all fairness, he could have dropped that just to add that level of suspicion going forward. Maybe it's just sort of a backstage interview way of trying to sweeten the pot up a little bit because you start getting nervous about certain things. And you start to realize that, hey, Bryan ain't kidding. This is it, guys. This is it, because I know about these kinds of promises. I have children, too. They're all graduated and grown now. But when they were babies, I remember telling myself, I'm only going to work until 5 today because I got to get home. I'm only going to do this. Before they were born, there was no telling when I'd get home from work. I'd get home as late as 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. When I was working third shift, I was supposed to be home by 7 o'clock in the morning. 99 times out of 100, I didn't get home till 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and the drive wasn't but 15 minutes. I worked. But when I had kids, I made the same promise to them. I made the same promise to be there for them, too, and Bryan Danielson has made that promise to his child, and I respect it. I think he has a little girl, if I'm not mistaken. So we get that sit down. He tells us all about that. Then we have a commercial break. We head backstage where we get a few words from Hikaru Shida, which is what I was just telling you about right there. She said she doesn't have good opponents right now. Calls out Mercedes Moné at All In, which, hey, if you're going to call somebody out, at least she's under contract. What a concept. I'm still mad about that one, Tony. I'm not mad at Stephanie McClure because Stephanie McClure took the bag and went on about her way. That's business. I'm mad at you for not being in the front of the line to hand her a bag just so she could turn it down. But so you had to put your best foot forward. So at least Hikaru Shida is under contract. So we're going to get Hikaru Shida and Mercedes Moné more than likely. I'm going to say it's a more than likely scenario there. Because Hikaru Shida wants more competition, etc., etc., etc. Back at ringside. Oh my God. This show was cooking with gasoline. And it didn't slow down just when we got there. The Bang Bang Gang, if you ask me, which nobody ever does, but if you ask me, who has a better entrance to the ring right now than the Bang Bang Gang? That shit is corny and hilarious. So yeah, anytime the Bang Bang Gang's out, I'm seated because I know something stupid and funny is going to happen. And I love that. That's one of the things that I do love about AEW. We're at an hour and a half, guys. We're almost here. The lights are on, and I can see the driveway. We're just about home, guys. We're just about home. Stay with me. I got 14 viewers out there. Thank you all for sticking with me this late at night. You guys are my heroes, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm going to be on here every Saturday night, same time. I don't do a lot of advertising, so tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Maybe next Saturday I come in here and I got 50 people. 50 would blow my mind. I've had 40. 40 is the biggest stream that was last Sunday. And I was sitting there like, well, and that's part of why I froze up. So when I saw the numbers, I was like, this ain't no 16 people. But in all seriousness, 40 rocked my world. I'd like to come back on Saturday to 50. Let's do 50. What do you say? Come on, guys. I know people are listening to me, so let's go. Anyway, back at ringside, the Bang Bang Gang make their way to the ring for our main event. And up next is the House of Black, eager to get back at the patriarchy, even with Christian Cage himself in the corner ready to be the special guest referee. Which leads me to my segment of Who Did It Better? I was really going to put that whole thing together and drop it on you. Did Seth Rollins with his frou-frou looking little frills like his wife made it for him and she got him from Kmart? Don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on him. That was just totally hilarious when he came out there in the sequins Jackson 5 pants and that goofy-ass Oompa Loompa. He looked like an Oompa Loompa. Tell the truth. He looked just like a damn Oompa Loompa. Or was it Christian Cage in the long sleeve turtleneck? No pause. Long sleeve turtleneck come out there looking like that right there. AEW World Trios number one contenders match. Special guest referee Christian Cage is House Black versus the Bang Bang Gang. We kicked this thing off zesty and very energetic, and it kept that all the way through there. There was a lot of back and forth on this, a lot of back and forth. I'm going to go straight to the ending on this. Actually, we had a commercial break in the middle. No picture-in-picture, just a commercial break. Back in the ring, Juice is tagged in. He has the upper hand on Buddy as the gang triple teams Buddy, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. At the end, the patriarchy, Nick Wayne and Killswitch come running in the ring with chairs. And, of course, Mother Wayne's out there with her belt. That is stupid. Please stop that. Please stop that, Tony. It's not funny. I don't like it. And you literally just took the titles off the Bang Bang Gang for doing exactly what Christian Cage just did. Now, if you want to talk about some bullshit booking, that's bullshit booking. When the preface behind the match is that Jay White was out, so they had to relinquish all the titles, and they had them all. But now that the patriarchy happened to have won the titles, now Mother Wayne is a trios. And no, fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. I get so anyway, they come running in there and they just beat the ever-living shit out of everybody in the ring. It wasn't, I mean, it was cool. I was trying to figure out how they were going to get all of them in the ring at the same time. Because I kind of felt like going through this match in the way Christian Cage was doing it, because Christian Cage was being so by the book and not doing heel shit. And you were like, okay, something's got to give here. Because I know the end game is to have all three of them in the ring. The Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, and, the Bang Bang Gang and the House of Black. I did have a moment there. Forgive me. I know the end game is to get all three teams into the ring for All In, because, you know, it's been a while since we've had 9 men in there and it wasn't a battle royal. So, yeah, we really wanted to make it as possibly confusing, as mostly confusing as possible. So the patriarchy comes in there with chairs, and they beat the living shit out of everybody with the chairs, and then Christian Cage automatically assumes that because there is no competition left, He will not need to have a match at All In, and that's where we're at on that with All In, and it goes off with that. Everybody in the ring is down except for Patriarchy. They're standing there, titles, chairs, go me, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. But that begs the question of exactly how much time are they going to allocate for a fatal three-way with trios. It's hard enough to do with singles. Damn near impossible to do with tag teams. Never been done with trios. So this will be a first-time match we're getting, because that's the only conclusion you can have. The Patriarchy is not skipping All In, folks. Okay, that's not happening. At bare minimum, we're looking at 18 matches. We've only got 6 declared so far. I mean, at the bare minimum, we're looking at 18 matches. So we got 12 more matches to go. Ain't no way in hell the Patriarchy is getting out of wrestling at All In. So there's no sense in even trying to sell that notion. It doesn't work. It's not going to fly. Anybody with an IQ above room temperature is going to see the end game here. Now the question is, how many minutes are you going to give this match? Because if you're going to give this match a lot of minutes and it's going to get heavy into it, you might want to leave Chris Jericho at home. You might want to leave Orange Cassidy at home. Because this match needs to have at least 15 minutes, possibly 20. You might want to leave Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho at home, or have them stand in the back and watch the show. This is my Clear the Air, by the way. I should have announced it. Clear the Air is going to be on All In, because I am looking forward to All In. This will be my first All In. In my closet, I have a jersey for All In from last year. So when I do my Sunday show, or my Monday show, this one's going to be on Monday, because once again, Covalent TV gets top billed for right now, because we haven't really talked any of this out as to whether or not I want to run a stream simultaneously with theirs. But we all agree that we're probably going to have 18 matches, and so far we've only got 6 of them announced. Claudio Castronola, I think, is going to steal the show. Him and Okada, I think, are going to steal the show with the Continental Classic. I don't think MJF and Will Ospreay, too, are going to steal as much of the show as everybody else thinks they're going to. Because MJF right now is just phoning this shit in. And it frustrates Will Ospreay to work with an athlete who's just phoning it in. So we're going to need something in there for some comic relief that normally Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree would give us. But I think if you're going to do this trios match this way, I think we get the best of both worlds. I think we get our entertainment, and I think we get a hell of a match, because even at his age, Christian Cage puts on a hell of a match. Now, anybody in there, anybody out there, you have to agree. If you saw the Christian Cage Swerve Strickland match, it was pretty balanced. Swerve wasn't carrying Christian. Christian wasn't carrying Swerve. So it was a pretty balanced match. So obviously, I believe Christian Cage can put on something. Now, we got to be teetering for this Swerve Strickland-Bryan Danielson match as far as time goes, because we don't know how it's going to go. I mean, I'm sure Bryan will try to ink it out at the end and all that, but at the end of the day, it's Bryan Danielson, 25 years of jumping off buildings and running himself through cheese grater. You name it, he's done it. As he said in the interview, all the stuff I had to do just to get noticed back then. 25 years ago, you basically had to jump off the side of a building to get noticed by WWE. Or to get noticed by anybody. Ring of Honor. I mean, the pool was so small and they kept their thing so tight that you literally had to blow yourself up to get noticed by any of them. So I understand exactly what Bryan Danielson's saying, which really leads me to be just a little bit apprehensive about their match and how much time I think they're going to need. Because Bryan Danielson may go out there, shock me, have the match of his life. He may have a gear I haven't seen. But chances are, with that much of a difference in there, Swerve's going to have to back off to keep from actually hurting him. So I'm not sure how long that match is going to go. So we absolutely need this trios match, Tony. In addition, I would not be dismayed if you signed Viva Vaughn to a short-term deal, 2-3 years, didn't matter. A year, 2 years, 3 years. That would be fine with me as well. If you were to sign Viva Van to like a 2-3 year contract, stick her ass and all in. Because her and Harley Cameron can go. I'm going to tell you that right now. Harley Cameron, I'm not going to say Harley Cameron is her speed because I haven't seen them both in the ring together. But that would make an excellent match. But the bottom line is we're looking for 18 matches out of you, and right now we've only got 6, and we are 2 weeks away, sir. 2 weeks away. I need at least 12 matches out of you. I mean, if you're going to wait till the last minute to throw all these things at us, at least give us a tip, you know. Peek up over the fence like this and go, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, just so we know something's coming. Now, everybody was teasing you had a major announcement tonight, and I feel kind of let down because it looks like you're going to put it out there on Dynamite. I'm hoping you come out live Monday with a TV deal. And that's something else we could discuss, but I'm just not getting into it because we're an hour and 42 minutes into this thing, and my voice is about shot. But AEW does have a television deal. Now, everybody keeps jumping on me like, I haven't seen it. You're not going to see it, but you see it. The mere fact that right now we just finished with an episode with AEW superstars in it. That's new, by the way. A television company is not going to waste their time shooting a show for athletes that aren't going to be there in 6 months. In addition, Max is coming live with AEW material overseas right now. And that shit's rolling here. So I'll probably be picking up Max next month or so. So I'll have it when it comes. Tony Khan has already said that they are planning to do pay-per-views on Max. Which means none of us have any excuse to miss a pay-per-view now. It won't be $50. And what I would do, and here's something I would do too, because I thought this was a great damn idea. I'm not even going to say it because I can't remember where I heard it. If I heard it on the telephone, I'm going to let somebody else break it. But it was a really good idea. I'm going to do that later on. No, we're an hour and 45 minutes into this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up and say thank you. I got to 16 tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Graps TV and the Sicko Show. I have been your host, the Matty Man, and I will see you on Thursday. Peace.